staying inside the cab until we get all the way back into the station. We're not going to be stepping off the locomotive at any point until we are completely back here and parked.
Okay.
Aside from that, there's no need to stay seated by any means. You're more than welcome to stand up, move about as you please. If you want to take some pictures or video of what I'm doing over here with the control stand, I don't mind you peeking over my shoulder at all. Cover that, re-verify that is 116 onboard passengers plus 4 FOUR little ones, 2121 onboard staff, correct?
That is correct.
Takes a little bit longer to change for us than the rest.
What's up, YouTube?
Thank you.
We typically want to get anywhere between 15 to 18 cubic feet per second worth of water. Last year, about 8.5 years now. So if you were here 5 years ago, I had actually just transitioned off of our onboard staff into our operations department. But I haven't gotten sick of the views yet. We eventually purchased it from, and the Escalante and Southwestern was the one that converted it back down to a -2.
Oh, okay.
So we got this one as well as its two sisters, the 602 and the 603, as a package deal. Since they came off the assembly line, they've been together their entire lives on every single train they've been on. So that was kind of the purchasing agreement, is that they were willing to give us a deal on the locomotives as long as we keep them together.
Oh, wow. Okay.
The SD40-2, that's my favorite locomotive.
They are definitely workhorses.
Yes.
I originally learned how to run on our old GP40s, and I like these quite a bit better. Just handle the hill way better than those Jeeps did.
Well, they're so beautiful to photograph, too.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Especially the ones that are still in the green PN paint.
Just a very nice picturesque locomotive.
Oh, yeah.
For how much it was going to cost to redo the entire Tennessee Pass end to end.
Yeah.
A part of that quote was a general assumption that our company had taken care of BTC. So according to you, they taken care of BTC already. Just fine, but they had a wing clip the edge of what's now called Wings Monument and dragged 3 aircraft off it into the river. And they cleaned up that mess very quickly and were not really lenient on letting that information out for a number of years.
You said that was from World War II?
Back in World War II, as far as I'm aware.
I'm a big World War II nut.
Yeah, information on that story is rather scarce, so there could be a couple of details that I'm not exactly privy to. That's just how the story goes, at least.
Wow.
Sweet.
approach signal 167.5, conductor.
Pacific finally put it out of, well, kept the Tennessee Pass out of service, still utilizing what came into Canyon City, and then they made an agreement with us, which was actually drawn up by BNSF.
Oh, wow.
So as a part of that agreement, BNSF completely and totally locked themselves out of the RGX subdivision. Well, a couple of years back, they realized that there was a booming business at the quarry. So they are now, from time to time, signing contracts with Rock and Rail. Since BNSF can't come into the gorge, they will hand Rock and Rail their trains, so that it's a Rock and Rail train coming in, just operating with BNSF power, and then handing it right back to BNSF with all of the product.
Wow, there you go.
Absolute signal that we go through. The next one, once you get to the top of the hill here, right where you see those two mountain passes converge, is the last absolute in our territory called West Parkdale, and that one's going to be off. So this one, they admittedly just took the yellow and the green lenses and they flipped them. Since we'll only ever have an approach signal here, they want to make sure we have a clear to be able to get past the signal and then promptly straight back down. Years we've been able to really build up our mechanical department. It went from, we would only be able to service something if we called a contractor out when it absolutely had to be done before it became unsafe, to over the past couple of years we now have a Carmen department, interior plumbing, locomotive and engine and generator mechanic, as far down as a paint shop for all of our locomotives and cars. So we take care of almost everything in-house there. The only things we contract out are some of the kind of odd end things, like if we recently redid all of the tinting on all of our cars, we contracted that out to a third party. And if there's anything that we really can't do on our own, we might call in a contractor to come help if we, say, need some track work in our mechanical facility. But outside of that, we try to do just about everything we can on our own at this point. So we constitute one car length at about 80 feet rather than 55. So most of the time on the uphill trip, I have gravity helping me come to a stop. So if I had to put the train into emergency, it takes me car and a half. going downhill the exact same weight, same speed, it can take me upwards of 5 to 7 cars
Oh, yeah,
to come to a
easily.
complete stop. And I am at my maximum weight, I am hauling about 1,400 tons.
Yeah.
Whereas a freight train
Yeah.
is hauling 14,000 tons.
Yeah.
Most of what we see is going to be our Rocky Mountain bighorn sheep. We've got a pretty large population of them out here, and the gorge is kind of the perfect habitat.
601 East, mile marker 164.0 up. Canuck 601, approach signal 163.8.
Cover that approach signal 163.8. So whenever we see our bighorn sheep out here, they'll frequently come down to have a drink in the river. They got a lot of foliage to eat throughout the gorge as well.
Yep.
And they're basically the only thing without wings that has the agility to be able to get quite
Down.
literally scale from the
Yep.
bottom to the top of the
Oh,
ridge.
That's
Cool.
crazy.
And it's really impressive to watch them climb.
Yeah.
And there's nothing that realistically gets down here to bother them, so they're
Right.
out here quite frequently.
They're pretty.